lashes are essential. I myself am religious and go to church, but there is a big difference, and there needs to be somebody out there that says, "What the heck are we doing? Stay your butt at home." Okay, so um, you can do that from home and not get each other sick. You can believe in God and you can still believe in science. It's possible. So I'm going to tell you a story time, and I'm super nervous, like shaking. My eyeliner's a mess because I've been shaking, even contemplating doing this. So don't throw your rocks from your glass houses. It's quarantine, so I don't have like fancy eyelashes or extensions or anything like I always envisioned my first shared video would be so amazing. So basically, I have notes in case I forget. I want to be accurate, but basically, um, I my name is Amanda. For starters, I am 30 years old, and I was born with failing kidneys and vaginal agenesis, which is basically I was born with a solid vaginal canal. And the reason I'm sharing this now at 30 is because I think that the world could use a little bit of inspiration and light and hope in their everyday lives. We get so much negative and bad news right now. So I'm going to try my best. This, yeah, I'll try my best. So basically, it started. I was born in 1990. I got super sick in 1992, and they discovered that my kidneys were failing, and so we went to Children's Mercy in Kansas City, Kansas, and I got my mom's kidney. They did not remove my original kidneys because they were a muscle, so they said they just shrink, and they did. They're smaller than like a pinpoint, and they don't have any function. They don't bother me. They don't show up on scans or anything like that. So I got my mom's kidney, and she was a 3 out of 6. Oh no, I think she was a 5 out of 6. Hang on, I don't want to lie. I believe she was a 5 out of 6, and parents are normally a 3 out of 6. So it was actually a rare compatibility there. And so I got my mom's. I did have to do dialysis. Um, Here, I'll show you my scars. Since we're being children and won't stay at home, we're doing a slideshow. So if you're squeamish, look away. That's your viewer discretion. So that is my abdomen. Okay. So over here is the dialysis holes. Everything's backwards, and I don't know how to. I'm not fancy with them, so it's just gonna be that way. But my belly button is non-existent anymore. I don't. Some of these scars, I just don't even remember what they were for. I've had like 21 plus surgeries, is what I'm told. I don't remember. They started really, really young, and so we stopped keeping track around there. So that is the dialysis tube holes, and I still have them. Obviously, this is current, and they did that for about a year or so, cleaning the blood, and then we went to do the surgery, and I sneezed, and my mom was already cut open, and so I sneezed, and they called the surgery off because they didn't want to do the surgery if I was sick, basically. And so my poor mom, and back then they cut you open like major, major surgeries. So they had cut her from her belly button back around to her spine almost on one end. And so they closed her up, and we ended up doing the surgery a different day, and I ended up getting her kidney. It worked until they said it would probably work 3 years. At the time, medicines were not what they are now. Even though it's all, it was only 1992. There's been a big difference, and so they gave us a 3-year expectancy, and it ended up working um, until I was 18 years old, and it was the summer right before my senior year. and that was horrible. But I got sick, and my creatinine was 8 point something. And so basically, I didn't have to do dialysis again, which I'm grateful for that. We ended up just doing one surgery for the other. And actually, so my dad, here, let me go to my notes here. And so my dad wanted to be the one to donate. I have two siblings. And so when my next one failed, they were like, they just didn't want to involve my siblings. And I completely agree and understand, and I did at the time. And so my dad, they said basically he had to lose weight, and they were thinking he may be diabetic, and so he can't donate. And he basically killed himself trying to donate this kidney to me. Um, I mean, he's one of my idols in life, but he seriously, he went through like a million tests. One of them was blood sugars. So what he did is because, well, he is diabetic now, and I think he was then, and if he had failed that test, he could not donate. So what he did at the hospital, they gave him this sugary drink to drink, and then he was supposed to come back in an hour, and if his sugars were high, then he wouldn't be able to donate. And he had been losing so much weight. I mean, literally just killing himself. And he was still terrified he was going to fail this test, and I think he would have. And so he took the sugary drink. He left the hospital, purged it, made himself throw it all up to the point he had blood vessels pop in his eye and looked really scary. So he got as much out as he could, basically because he thought if he drank this, he knew he failed the test. So he had to get as much of that sugar substance out as he could. And then he basically went and walked 6 miles, and it was snowing, like crazy snowing. So he was shoveling strangers' driveways to burn off that sugar. And there's this little lady that he like shoveled her driveway. So he did nothing but power walk and shovel driveways for an hour, and came back, and he passed the test. So he was going to donate his kidney. And we went up to the hospital the night before, and we're all prepped. They took my labs, and they took his. I didn't have any antibodies against his kidney at the time or anything, so he could donate. In the morning, they said, we're going to take your blood one more time. And I was like, well, why are we doing, like, what is this for? Just making conversation. And she said, we're checking to see that, you still don't have any antibodies. And she said, we do it every time, but I've never seen it change or anything. Well, it comes back, I had built up antibodies against my dad, and he could no longer donate. Crushed and heartbroken, and he had tried very, very hard to help me. And I know there's nothing I could do, but it felt really terrible. And so we had to look to my brothers, and well, my brother and sister. And my brother was terrified just to give lab work, and I mean that in the nicest way. Nothing funny about it to him. That was real, and that was scary. And even though I do it once a week, my whole life, that's scary to him. And I just didn't want to go that way, but we had to. And so I had antibodies against my brother too, and so he can't donate. And my sister was a 6 out of 6 match, which my brother was too. But I had antibodies against him, so he can't donate. And so my sister donated to me, and I have hers currently still, but my immune system is really, I have to take like Prograf and Cell Stuff right now. I'm on the generic for it, but basically the easiest way to describe it to kids is it puts my immune system to sleep. So it does not attack my kidney that is transplanted. And that is basically so it won't kill it and I can stay alive. And so I don't have a good immune system. Anything I come in contact with, it feels like I can get it. Just obviously I can. And so, in the meantime that all this was going on, about 8th grade, I had discovered I was super sick. And we couldn't figure out what was wrong. I ended up missing almost half a year of school. It got really, really bad. I was in so much pain and like throwing up, and I couldn't eat. It just got really rough. And so what they did tests. They couldn't figure out anything out. We had some doctors, even my parents at one point were like, "Are you faking it for attention?" And they knew I wasn't, but they had all these doctors telling them nothing's wrong with her. She's fine, which I don't know why they kept dismissing us, because as soon as they did an actual scan, it was like there's something wrong with her. But anyway, so finally they figured out that I had started my period and it couldn't come out of my body. So they said I had a thick hymen. Well, first they thought it was, well, no, that's later. Sorry, I was thinking about when I had cancer. So it couldn't come out of my body, and they thought it was a thick hymen. I went in for surgery at Children's Mercy, same place, and so I went under for surgery, and I woke up, and everybody was crying. Like, my grandpa's crying, my mom's crying, so I was like, my dad, my siblings, I was like, now what happened? And they're like, well, you don't have a thick hymen. The middle of your vaginal canal is solid. And so I was an 8th grader. There was 2 doctors at the time that either could or were willing. I'm not sure what the story was there. I know I had a lot of other health complications, and that could just be misinformation in the legend of my health at this point. But so we went to see 2. The first one said no. She had done the procedure on an 18-year-old girl, and she committed suicide because the aftercare was just really intense, really heavy stuff. And so she would not do it on an 8th grader. So we went and saw the second one. He happened to be in Wichita, Kansas, which was really close to where I lived. And he was great. He was so respectful. Being a guy gynecologist, he's still the best one I've ever had. And he talked to me and told me what we can do. He said we would have to use dilators, glass dilators, and build up over time. It would be fully on me because my parents, I'm an 8th grader, they can't be checking every day to say, did you do your dilators, and sit there and watch me. You know, it was on me. And so I told him I could do it. And 20 minutes twice a day, I started the dilators, and it was so painful. It's when you put an outlet, you're plugging in this plug where there's not a freaking outlet. And so it always had to be bigger. You know, the first one was like this big. And sorry, I'm shaking. but anyways, and so it always had to be bigger than what actually fit to stretch the skin. So it was obviously really painful, and it was this huge secret I couldn't ever tell anybody because the gynecologist had told me. He said, don't ever tell any of your friends because they may be your friend today, but they may not be your friend tomorrow. And he's right. 8th graders are mean. They could have made my life hell. I mean, complete hell. But it's also very, very hard to keep that when 20 minutes twice a day, I'm captain of the cheer squad. And, you know, we're going overnights, weekends for away games. You know, you have to have a roommate. How am I going to disappear for 20 minutes? And I had to get an exercise bicycle in my room. And that was because not to ride, like, all my friends were like, why do you have this old bike now? And it was because the seat angle, I'd put the dilator in, and then I'd have to sit on that seat, and the angle of it was actually the correct angle that it needed to be. And I got it real close. Today, the angle is just slightly different than what it would be. But hey, it's a handmade vagina, so my husband cannot complain. It is a one of a kind. So, but anyway, so yeah, there's that. But so I did the dilators I had to do them twice a day for 20 minutes every day for 5 years. So for 2 years we did them, and then my sophomore year they laid open the skin and connected that. And I sat, I'm not even kidding about this, like not being sarcastic or exaggerating. I sat up in bed after surgery and the blood rushed out of me. You could hear it like turning on a bath faucet, and it went everywhere, and it was black. Like disgusting, soiled, poisoning me. No wonder I looked so just like not healthy. And they had been giving me Depo-Provera, the shot. You get it every 3 months, and so the doctors had decided to give it to me monthly, and they thought that would basically it'd be such a high dose of it that it would stop me having a period altogether. And then they thought that the blood would reabsorb, and some of it may have, I don't know. But when I sat up that day, and I still was having those stomach pains, and it ended up, the blood stuck in there, ended up backing up in my fallopian tubes on both sides, and damaging them and the ovaries. And so we had to take one of them out because it was causing chronic pain. So we took one of the fallopian tubes and ovaries out sometime like in my late teens, early 20s, like maybe 19, somewhere around there. And so we had to do that. But right after surgery, my mom, I was so excited to have like a vagina. And so we went to the store and bought like every brand of tampon and pad you can imagine. It was like the best day in the world. I was like, she woman, hear me roar. So that was super fun. They did tell me at the time it could end up closing back down, that if I cut my hand with a knife, it's going to heal shut. And basically, my body doesn't know my vaginal canal should be open. So there's a good chance, that it could try and close down over time. And so, but anyway, so that was sophomore year. And then I had to do it I ended up having to do it into college, my freshman year of college. And basically, that was the first time I told anybody, and that was my roommate, because I mean, how am I gonna just like disappear on this bike? We did everything together. She was my best friend since third grade. I felt like she's not going anywhere. She hasn't. She's never told my secrets, and I still love her to death. Bonnie, she knows who she is, and so she's been everything a best friend should be. And my husband, he's been everything that a partner should be, and more. And so then I got sick. So I scheduled this trip for my boyfriend at the time. Yeah, I don't know. We may have been engaged. I think we were dating. I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying. I don't know. But anyways, I was so worried about him having fun at this trip. He'd never flown, like, so I was just like, I hope he's having fun. I hope he's having fun. But I was having like pain in my stomach, and I was throwing up every day, and I was swelling up like a pregnant girl would, which kidney patients do retain fluid already, but it was literally leaking out of my toenail beds. I know that's like disgusting, but it truly was. I was like, what is wrong with me? Is this just another side effect of everything I've been through? Come here, kitty. Come on. And so, hi, sweetie. I ended up going to my doctor when I got back, and a normal checkup, like just a normal kidney checkup, nothing special. I didn't call in and say, I'm throwing up every day and I'm hurting really, really bad. Because I have adhesions from surgeries, and so I do hurt every day to some, varying different degrees. I went in, he pushed on my stomach, and he was like, "You're not going home." And he put me in the hospital, and they ended up doing a scan of my abdomen. They thought I had internal bleeding from a biopsy they had done, and so they did surgery and tried to suck it out with a tube, this black mass in this CT scan, and it wouldn't come out. And so they were like, well, it's not liquid. Like, we couldn't suck it out at all, like barely anything. And so they scheduled surgery. Well, they were going to release me because I had started feeling better, and then the night before they were going to release me, I started getting sick again. And so we did the surgery. It was like exploratory, kind of. They didn't know what they were going to find. But this one doctor kept telling me, it's not your ovaries, it's not your ovary, well, ovary, because I had already lost the other one. And so they kept just saying, it's not, it's not. And then this other doctor, this sweetheart, was like, no, I think it is. No, it's not. I'm the gynecologist doctor. It's not, it's not, it's not. Witchy woman. Oh, she told my grandpa, who would go to all my surgeries and stuff, she told him at this surgery that I was not a. She told him that I was not a virgin anymore, and none of her business. I was over 21 at the time they did this surgery, and none of their business, or over 18. I'm sorry, I was 20. And so they ended up removing a 9-pound ovarian cancer tumor. And she had been telling my family it was an STD. And I wasn't sexually active and told all of them this without my knowledge. Okay, so not cool of her, but my grandpa just made a nice joke about it. Like, if you're doing it, do it well and do it right. So we did that. And then basically, that put me into my 20s is when I had the ovarian cancer. I was basically full-term pregnant. I wasn't pregnant, but I had a 9-pound tumor. And is what they ended up finding. It had engulfed my ovary. And so they had to remove the whole tumor and the ovary. And so, sorry, we have 2 little foster babies. We removed the ovary. It was 9 pounds. It had engulfed my last ovary. The doctor is right. I had told the doctors before surgery, if it turns out to be, you have to remove my ovary, I want to be the first to know. Like, don't tell anybody. I want to be the first to know. And the girl doctor, not the boy, the girl doctor told my whole family, and I know they're grieving in their own ways and whatnot, so they texted everybody, and the whole town knew before I had even woke up from surgery that I couldn't have kids with my partner. And so I would have liked to maybe have 2 days to swallow that and then let people know in my own way, but I felt really frustrated because I had done these dilators every day for 20 minutes, twice a day, just so I could be a mom. I wasn't worried about sex when I was an 8th grader. I wanted to be a mom, and I was just devastated, and it just knocked the wind out of my sails more than anything I've ever been through. I was just so devastated, and I know there's other ways to be a mom, but it didn't help to hear it at the time. It really didn't. I was just like, what happened? I don't know. But looking back, I wouldn't have met the little girl we have now. She's a foster daughter, and we've had her for almost 2.5 years. We got her at 3 weeks old, and we will be adopting her as soon as this pandemic ends. And then during this pandemic, we got a call, and it was an emergency placement of a 1-year-old, 15-month-old boy from an abuse and neglect situation. And, you know, they already have such limited foster homes. They were always short with that. And on top of that, with the pandemic, nobody is wanting to take anybody into their home. And looking back, it probably wasn't smart of us, especially with me with my health, but we were like, we had an hour heads up. And we were like, okay, bring him over. And we set up the crib, did what we had to do. He's been here maybe 2 weeks, so stop hoarding diapers. We're going through ours twice as fast, and we can't find him anywhere, so there's that. That's cool. Thank you. So, but he's struggling. He's gone through a lot, but we'll just take it day by day. That's all we can do. So, the point of this is keep hope. We are so much stronger. If you ever will know until you are literally face to face with your obstacles in life. And you can do it no matter what you do. The sun comes up the next day and you did it. So we can get through this, is the first point of this. And the second, stay the F at home. Do I look sick? I mean, be nice, but not, you're not going to look at me and be like, she had no vagina. Like, no. So you don't know who has sick. You don't know who has these issues. Stay at home. Church is not essential, as in you need to go sit there. You can pray from home. You can sing from home. Reliance Community Church in Wichita, Kansas has an amazing online church program. It ain't essential, Governor. It's just not. Okay.